People think interacting with wild animals is cool until they see the worst of them. From animals acting in ways no one can explain to encounters that leave lasting memories. These moments will make you question everything you thought you knew about the wild. Watch if you're ready. That's why you shouldn't mess up with a hungry gator. In Australia, a group of tourists got a little too comfortable around one of nature's most efficient predators, a saltwater crocodile. Cameras rolled as the massive reptile glided toward their boat, eyes locked on the dangling bait. The tour guide, confident in his routine, teased the croc with a slab of meat expecting an easy show. But something shifted. Instead of the bait, the croc lunged straight for the man.
I'll sort of stay away.
The recording cut off and the tourists likely went back to their lives, but one thing is certain, that gator sent a message loud and clear. In its waters, the rules aren't set by humans. Fence and fear. In Darwin, Australia, tourists gathered by a fence, amazed at how big the crocodiles were on the other side. Everyone felt pretty safe, thinking that as long as the fence was there, they had nothing to worry about. But crocodiles don't really care about that kind of false security. Suddenly, one of them moved a little closer and you could feel the vibe change. Then, out of nowhere, the huge croc lunged at the fence with a bone-rattling crash. Panic swept through the crowd as people jumped back, but thankfully the fence held strong. MoMA's warning. In Central Florida, two men thought it'd be a good idea to snatch a baby alligator from a pond, until its mother reminded them why that was a terrible plan. With a net in hand, one of them managed to grab the tiny gator, proudly lifting it for the camera. But before he could even finish his sentence, a deep, guttural warning filled the air. The mother was close, and she wasn't playing. Panic set in. Did you hear that? One man stammered. That was all it took. No hesitation. Just a mad dash to gather their gear and get out. Lesson learned. If you mess with a baby gator, you better be ready to answer to mama. FedEx delivery. A FedEx worker learned the hard way why some gates come with warning signs. As he casually approached the entrance, a guard dog made it clear. This was its territory. The worker barely had time to react before the dog lunged, forcing him to drop the package and bolt. The chase was on, and for a brief moment, it looked like he might not make it. But luck was on his side. He managed to escape just in time. The delivery might have been delayed, but at least he lived to make another one. Too close for comfort. A group of tourists in a boat watched in horror as their tour guide did something unbelievably reckless. He got on the shore with crocodiles. Armed with nothing but a piece of chicken, he waded toward the predators, trying to lure them in for a show. At first, it seemed like he had control. But control is an illusion when dealing with creatures that have ruled these waters for millions of years. The crocs moved closer and with one powerful snap sent shockwaves through the boat. That was enough. No more filming, no more jokes. The engine roared to life and the tourists sped away, leaving behind a lesson in what not to do around crocodiles.
Wow, that's loud.
Rare encounter.
Oh my god. Holy shit.
In Naples, Florida, a woman was enjoying a peaceful walk through the Corkscrew Swamp Sanctuary when she got the shock of a lifetime.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Holy.
While surrounded by woods, a Florida panther came sprinting out of the underbrush and darted toward her. Spooked, she froze for a moment, likely wondering if this could be her last adventure. But to her surprise, the panther was more frightened than she was and quickly bolted in the opposite direction. Florida panthers are an extremely rare sight, so this close encounter is something few can claim.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
A close call. In Costa Rica, a photographer sat at the river's edge, camera in hand, eager to capture the perfect shot of crocodiles up close. Nearby, people tossed food into the water, trying to lure the massive reptiles to the surface. What they didn't realize was that they were also drawing the creatures dangerously close to the man. A single bad throw could have changed everything, and that's exactly what happened. One misplaced toss sent a crocodile lunging toward him. At the last second, someone hurled a stone to startle the beast, and it missed the photographer by mere inches. 1 second slower, and this would have been a very different story. Golf gator. A peaceful golf cart ride in Florida quickly turned into a close encounter with a large alligator. Two people were casually cruising along when an alligator, crossing the road on its way to a nearby pond, spotted the cart approaching. Without warning, it lunged towards the vehicle, but the driver swerved just in time to avoid the gator's sudden strike. While it seemed like the gator was simply trying to cross the road, there's no telling if it was eyeing a potential snack or just feeling a little territorial. Florida is never boring, that's for sure. Always a new surprise around every corner. Camel's rage. A driver unknowingly entered a camel's domain, and the towering beast wasn't about to let it slide. With an almost calculated rage, the camel stormed toward the car, locked eyes with its intruder, and then, without hesitation, ripped the side mirror clean off. It wasn't done yet. The mirror was smashed onto the windshield as a final warning. The driver wasted no time reversing, narrowly escaping what could have been a total wreck, because judging by the camel's rage, the bonnet was next on its list. Hippo fear. Back in 2018, a peaceful lake tour took a terrifying turn when nature reminded everyone who truly owns the waters. As the guide spoke, the camera panned toward the lake, just in time to catch a massive hippo rising from the depths. In an instant, the beast charged at full speed, closing the distance faster than anyone expected. Panic set in as the boat veered off course, narrowly escaping the hippo's wrath. Shark's warning. Surfing in the open ocean sounds like paradise, until nature reminds you who's really in charge. One surfer was enjoying the waves with his group when he noticed something strange beneath the surface. Before he could react, a massive shark struck his board, sending him flying into the water. For a split second, it seemed like his story was over, but luckily the shark didn't follow up with another charge. The man scrambled back onto his board, shaken but unharmed. A close call, to say the least. Because out there, in the deep, a single mistake, or just bad luck, can make all the difference. Tiger's inspection. Deep in the Indian wilderness, a safari tour took a tense turn when a Bengal tiger approached a parked jeep. The tourists held their breath as the giant predator walked up to the vehicle, inspecting its presence. Then, as if testing its patience, it began munching on the side mirror. Every second felt like an eternity, but no one dared to move. Luckily, after a brief encounter, the tiger lost interest and walked away. Thankfully to their quick thinking, they all stood still otherwise. A single wrong move and this could have ended very differently. Fishing for trouble. Some people just don't know when to leave nature alone. In yet another reckless stunt, a group of thrill seekers decided to fish a gator out of the water, because apparently that seemed like a good idea. What they didn't factor in was that an alligator can sprint up to 35 miles per hour on land, which means if it decided to come after them, they'd stand no chance. And that's exactly what happened. The beast locked onto them and lunged. Chaos erupted as the group scrambled to escape. Luckily, they made it out in time, but if the gator had been just a little faster, it would have been game over. Cheetah's curiosity. While on a safari ride in Africa, a group of tourists had an unexpected guest, one that moved faster than any predator on land. A cheetah leaped near their vehicle, but instead of aggression, it casually hopped onto the Jeep. Sniffing around, it seemed more interested in their scent than in making a meal out of them. After a brief inspection, as if satisfied with its findings, the big cat leaped back down and strolled away, leaving the tourists with a heart-racing encounter they'd never forget. Beachside intruder. In southern Mexico, a crocodile decided to take a stroll onto a crowded beach, sending sunbathers into a frenzy. But oddly enough, the beast didn't seem interested in causing havoc. It simply strutted along the sand, looking more like a king returning to his palace than a predator searching for a meal. A lifeguard quickly intervened, shooing the reptile away, and it slowly made its way back into the ocean. Yet, despite the obvious danger, curious tourists stuck around, filming as if they were watching a parade. Some people just don't know when to back off, because if that croc had changed its mind, things could have gone south real fast. Python showdown. What was supposed to be a routine snake capture turned into a heart-pounding fight for control. A group of snake catchers tracked down a massive python coiled around a tree branch, using sticks to pry it loose. But the serpent had no plans of surrendering. Forced to climb the tree, one of the men grabbed it by hand, only for chaos to break loose. The struggle sent both man and snake tumbling into murky waters, and the python wasn't done yet. It lunged, striking back in self-defense. Against all odds, the team managed to subdue the powerful predator. They caught it and was shifted to a safer place. Shark terror. A group of tourists was cruising on an inflatable boat, enjoying the calm waves, when suddenly, a great white shark emerged from the depths. With terrifying precision, the beast lunged forward, sinking its massive jaws into the side of the boat. The flimsy inflatable buckled under the force, sending the passengers into a panic. The footage cuts off before we see what happens next, but one thing's for sure: when you're floating in the deep, you're in their world. And when a great white decides to take a bite, you just have to hope you're not on the menu. Moccasin encounter. A peaceful day in the woods took a sharp turn when a man stumbled upon an aggressive water moccasin. Armed with only a grabbing stick, he carefully positioned himself before striking with precision, catching the venomous snake in a single motion. But the battle wasn't over. As he proudly showed off the creature's sharp fangs and patterned body, the moccasin grew restless, and it charged at the camera multiple times. With nerves of steel, he safely released the snake back to the ground, walking away unharmed. Not many can say they've stared down a fatal serpent and lived to tell the tale. Friendly warning. This might just be the friendliest warning ever from a gorilla. A group of tourists thought they were safe filming a massive gorilla from a distance. But what they didn't realize is that gorillas are fiercely territorial, and stepping too close could be a mistake. This time, however, the great ape had a different way of sending a message. It walked forward, locked eyes with the intruders, and with a single mighty motion, sent a massive splash of water their way. A clear warning. Next time, it won't be just water. Giraffe's chase. Giraffes are often seen as gentle giants, but sometimes they can be anything but ruthless. During a safari ride, a group of tourists unknowingly provoked a giraffe, and instead of walking away, the towering creature launched into a full sprint, chasing down their Jeep with alarming speed. The driver pushed the accelerator, but the giraffe wasn't giving up easily. Panicked voices filled the air as the determined beast kept up the pursuit. Only after a frantic dash and loud shouting did the group finally shake it off. standoff. A peaceful hike in Provo's Slate Canyon turned into a terrifying showdown when a man unknowingly wandered too close to a cougar's den. The mother cougar wasn't about to let him off easy. Her eyes locked onto him with the intensity of a true predator. With nerves of steel, the hiker attempted to scare her off, but for 6 agonizing minutes, she stalked his every move, lunging forward and testing his reaction. Every step backward was a battle for survival. Only when he finally left her territory did she relent, disappearing back into the wilderness. Moral of the story? Never mess with a mother cougar. Geese's revenge.
Oh, hell! Oh, shit! Oh, fuck!
This is what happens when you record the geese without their consent. A morning jog took an unexpected turn when a woman decided to record a group of geese near a pond. Little did she know, one goose was none too pleased with her attention. With wings spread wide, it charged at her, knocking her down and sending her camera flying.
Oh, hell! Oh, shit! Oh, fuck!
As she picked herself up, the determined goose stood there, almost as if warning her not to make the same mistake again. And she learned the lesson that never messing with geese, especially when they feel their privacy is being invaded.
Oh, shit, you
Bear's fury. In the wild, there are few forces more powerful than a mother protecting her cubs. One woman witnessed this firsthand when she saw a bear mother charge toward a speeding car. The car, perhaps unaware of the danger, sped past, but the mama bear wasn't about to let it go. With snarling growls and powerful strides, she chased after the vehicle, showing exactly what she was willing to do to protect her young. This incredible footage is a reminder of the raw strength and unwavering instinct that guide these magnificent creatures. Respect them and their space. Llama's vendetta. You wouldn't want to be on a llama's bad books, and this guy found that out in a harsh way. In 2009, in Abbotsford, BC, Canada, a group of friends had no idea what awaited them when they visited a local farm. Everything seemed normal until they encountered the neighbor's friendly llama, but the moment one of the friends stepped in, the mood shifted. Without warning, the llama charged directly at him, sending him sprinting around the farm in panic. Out of everyone there, it seemed the llama had a personal vendetta against him, chasing him all the way off the property. Now that's a grudge you don't want to cross. Talk about a llama with a point to prove. Lesson learned. Ever thought poking a gator was a good idea? Well, these two teenagers did, and let's just say it didn't go as planned. While casually fishing near a small pond, they spotted a resting gator and decided to give it a little poke. Bad move. At first, the gator slowly crept out of the water, but soon enough, it went full sprint straight toward the teens. They quickly realized that messing with a gator was no joke, but luckily for them, the gator backed off, probably after realizing these teenagers had no idea what they were doing. A little close call, but definitely a lesson learned. Goose strike. Forget the usual military drills. This is next level training. Footage surfaced showing soldiers entering their base when they were suddenly ambushed. Not by an enemy, but by a goose. It turns out this wasn't just any goose. It had become a base legend, taking on the role of a superior officer, greeting every new soldier with a surprise ambush. The soldiers didn't stand a chance against the determined bird, proving that even the most unexpected animals have a way of making their presence known. Python problem.
Gator's still alive.
This is one wild encounter you don't see every day in Florida's Everglades. State contracted python hunter was out on a routine survey when he stumbled upon a dramatic battle. A massive python was squeezing the life out of an alligator. The alligator, though nearly gasping for air, swam away to safety after a brief rest. Pythons are an invasive species in the area, and it's clear they're wreaking havoc on the local wildlife. His quick thinking saved the day, but this close call showed how serious the python problem has become in Florida.
I got you, buddy. Hold on.
Pool party. Imagine waking up to find a crocodile hanging out in your backyard pool. That's exactly what happened in Monroe County, Florida, where a large 10-foot croc was found taking a dip. The homeowners were understandably shocked, and the trappers had quite the fight on their hands getting the crocodile out of the water. After a bit of a struggle, the croc was safely returned to its natural habitat far from any pools. A reminder that Florida wildlife can show up where you least expect it. Tiny triumph. A small turtle might not seem intimidating, but this one sure knew how to make an impression. In 2012, a man spotted a little turtle on the road and decided to get a closer look. As he approached with his camera, the turtle had a different idea, charging straight at him. The man, caught off guard, was clearly spooked by the little creature's surprising aggressiveness. Sometimes it's the smallest animals that pack the biggest punch. Tiny warrior. Talk about bravery in a small package. A homeowner in the mountains uploaded footage of a black grizzly bear perched on the boundary wall looking down at the yard. As the homeowner tried to scare the bear away by making noise, his little Yorkshire Terrier decided to step in and save the day. The pup charged forward, barking fiercely, and although the bear seemed to consider making a move, it ultimately backed off. That tiny dog faced off with a giant grizzly like a true warrior. Barely walk. A seemingly ordinary dog walk took a wild turn for a family in Orlando when an angry black bear appeared out of nowhere and started chasing them. The family and their dog were out for their usual nightly stroll when the bear charged after them. Prince, being the brave pup he was, paused for a moment before running for his life, closely followed by the bear. The family sprinted to their house in panic, with the bear hot on their heels. Thankfully, they made it inside just in time, and the bear quickly scurried off. That's a walk they'll never forget. Trashed gator. In a truly bizarre turn of events, a man from Florida decided to try and trap an alligator in a trash can. Yes, a trash can. After managing to force the alligator into the bin, the giant reptile began thrashing around, making the whole situation incredibly dangerous. The man eventually rolled the can to a nearby lake and released the gator, but wildlife experts cautioned that this kind of stunt was reckless. Trapping an alligator in such a confined space could easily backfire. These animals are strong, unpredictable, and could cause serious harm. But thankfully, this guy managed to trap it inside the trash. Scent rescue. In Maine, an officer from the Fraternal Order of Police became an unlikely hero when he discovered a skunk with not one, but 2 cups stuck on its head. Without a moment's hesitation, the officer carefully removed the cups, freeing the poor creature from its sticky situation. However, the skunk, a bit shaken from the rescue, decided to retaliate with a spray before running off into the wild unharmed. Who would have thought that saving the day could come with a scent? Unexpected encounter. A man was enjoying the crystal clear waters of a Florida beach, soaking in the charm of the serene surroundings. But little did he know, a curious manatee was quietly observing him. The gentle giant swam closer, eventually settling right beneath the man's shadow, studying the situation. When the man noticed the unexpected company, he was spooked to his core and bolted out of the water, startling the manatee in the process. The creature was likely just trying to understand what was going on, quickly swam away in surprise, leaving both of them shaken by the brief unexpected encounter. Otter's aggression.
Oh shit!
In a quiet suburban neighborhood, something unexpected happened that left the locals scratching their heads. A young man was enjoying a normal day in his backyard when he spotted an otter, casually lounging on the grass. At first it seemed harmless, just a curious creature, but then, out of nowhere, the otter sprang into action. He managed to escape, but the moment was enough to send chills down anyone's spine. Although they might look cute, but they are quite dangerous creatures.
Little otter.
Hundreds of alligators. If you've never set foot in Wetland, Georgia, let me tell you, it's an adventure like no other. Some visitors recently recorded what can only be described as a full-on gator party happening right in the river. These gators ruled the swamp like it was their own personal kingdom, and they were not about to roll out the welcome mat for anyone. They were everywhere, showing off their territorial nature, making it clear that crossing into their space is a really bad idea. So if you plan to visit, admire them from a safe distance. Snap that photo if you're feeling brave, but don't try to get cozy, or trust me. It's better to play it safe than end up as a gator's snack. Fierce battle. Get ready for an incredible story that will get your heart racing and leave you amazed by the power of nature. A brave wildlife biologist was exploring the wilds of Brazil's Pantanal region. While walking along the riverbank, she spotted a stunning jaguar with eye-catching spots. But guess what? The jaguar wasn't alone. It was in a wild showdown with a cayman. Both animals were roughly the same size, but the jaguar showed that he was the real king of the jungle. Angry croc. A daring zookeeper decided to have a little fun with a massive crocodile. Armed with just a stick, he started splashing the water, trying to get the big reptile's attention. You might think he was just messing around, but let me tell you, when crocs see splashes like that, they think it's mealtime. But this time, it wasn't a snack he was after. It was a trick to lure the croc in, and let me tell you, that crocodile was not having it. You could practically see the steam coming out of its nostrils. Thankfully, the zookeeper had some skills to deal with it, or things could have turned pretty dicey really fast. Fish invasion. A group of fishermen was out on the water when, out of nowhere, fish started jumping all around them. Seriously, it was like they had wings instead of fins. You'd think these guys were about to score a big catch, but they didn't even need a net. So how did it happen? Well, these fish were freaked out by the flashlights and the fishermen being there in the water. If you want an easy catch like this, just grab a flashlight, make some noise on the boat, and sit back to watch the crazy action. Manatees infested water. Ever visited Blue Spring State Park in Volusia County? If not, you're missing out on the ultimate manatee experience. The St. Johns River around there is basically Manatee Central. During the winter months, these gentle giants flock to Blue Spring for the warm waters, making it their perfect cozy getaway. But here's the thing. As peaceful as they seem, manatees can get quite territorial. If you get too close, they won't hesitate to swim off with a splash, letting you know you're in their space. So, if you're planning a visit, enjoy the spectacle from a safe distance, and let the manatees do their thing. It's all fun and games, until they decide you're a bit too close for comfort. Killer whales.
Yes, 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 yes.
That seal went 80.
orcas aren't called killer whales for nothing. A group of marine enthusiasts was lucky enough to witness these magnificent creatures in action, but they weren't ready for what came next. The pod had locked onto a lone seal and the chase was on. Then, in a shocking display of power, one of the orcas launched the seal almost 80 feet into the air like it was a mere plaything. It was a brutal reminder that, for orcas, hunting isn't just survival, it's strategy. According to experts, this behavior helps weaken their prey, but to those watching, it was a jaw-dropping spectacle. Piranha Lake. The Amazon basin might seem kind of murky and eerie, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. This place is crawling with piranhas and barracudas, and trust me, these fish aren't exactly friendly. If you happen to swim into their territory, well, let's just say you're in for a bad time. And it doesn't stop there. There's this creepy little fish called the candiru lurking around. Legend has it that if it spots you, it'll swim up, you know where. Not pretty at all. So seriously, avoid Piranha Lake unless you're looking for some serious trouble. Open discussion. Now it's time for today's open discussion. A viral video is going on these days where a man was waist deep in the swampy waters, and out of nowhere, a massive gator bolted toward him. His heart raced as he looked around, desperately searching for something to defend himself. Just as the beast lurched forward, mouth open, he grabbed a nearby stick and jabbed it into the gator's powerful jaws. For what felt like an eternity, the man fought against the creature and finally made a break for it, escaping with his life. But don't worry, after some digging, turns out that this was actually from a movie, Lake Placid 3. Thank you very much for watching the video. Do like it and share it with your friends. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to not miss any of the upcoming amazing videos. Thank you once again.